The first game of the season, and a number 21 ranked Stanford team steps onto a Big Ten field in Evanston, Illinois, and gets upset 16-6. Well, fast forward 3 months later, and that same Stanford team has found themselves in a Rose Bowl against an explosive Big Ten Iowa team. As much as Stanford could have let that first game define them, they didn't let it.
We sat in the room and we evaluated what we could have done better as coaches and what we could have done better as players, and we didn't panic. That's probably the biggest thing I can tell you is we looked around the room and said, this is what we need to fix. We're going to address this. And you know what? We're going to stay the course. We know this works. We believe in this. And so we're going to play better and coach better than we did the week before.
We just, we had a tough time executing. We couldn't get in any rhythm offensively. And, just one of those days as a football team where we were playing real tight, And so I think after that game, we had two options. We could have, sat there and moped about it and started, being me guys. But instead, I think we came together as a team and played with the chip on our shoulder the rest of the season.
Even with a Stanford offense that relies heavily on sophomore running back Christian McCaffrey, this Iowa defense that is very sound and disciplined could give this Stanford team a test.
Iowa is going to be, I don't want to say vanilla because it's the wrong term, but they trust their guys to line up and play great football and play a very physical style, so much so that there's not much movement. And in the Pac, we're used to like all these different schemes and people flying in from vines on third down, and there's not a whole lot of that out of Iowa. What you're going to see is the guys that are going to line up in base and play a physical style and really feel they can man up. We talk all the time. I think they actually believe they can, dazzle you with dance and they don't have to baffle you with BS.
Iowa will have their hands full with McCaffrey. The first runner-up for the Heisman Award has 1,847 yards on the season with 8 rushing touchdowns.
I hadn't heard too much about him. Even I hadn't really been following the Heisman race too much, and that was probably the first time I heard about him. And but he's a great player. He can hurt you in a lot of different ways. And just them as a team, they just have a really efficient offense. They know what they want to do. They don't stray from the plan too much.
He's the real deal. He's one of the best backs we've seen all year. He can move. The biggest thing really just controlling the gaps. Because he from watching tape so far, he's like patient, and he'll see which gap opens up, and then he'll just take off. Our biggest thing is control the gaps up front.
McCaffrey and the rest of Stanford's offense will face an Iowa defense that is extremely different than most. The rotation is very minimal, and sophomore linebacker Josie Jewell and his capabilities have been noticed by the opposing team.
We go hard as we can for the long as we can, and if we get tired, we'll put somebody else in there. But yeah, we haven't got that tired throughout the year, so hopefully we can keep it going just with our 11 guys. But if somebody gets hurt or somebody's tired, there's always the next guy in, and especially at linebacker, we got a lot of guys to come in like Travis Perry, Bo Bauer. We got a lot of guys that are good waiting behind us. So if they get the opportunity, they'll do well too.
Just sideline to sideline, making play after play, chasing things down. For a guy that reminds you a little bit of Blake, one of our linebackers that can really run sideline to sideline. Just really impressed with how he never gives up on a play and how many plays he's able to make from whatever position he starts.
He's one of those guys that, you watch the tape and he does everything for him. He can hit, he's great at the point of attack. He fills his gaps extremely well. He's a great middle linebacker, and is someone that for us that you need to know where he is at all times. And he brings so many challenges to the field, and we're just going to have to really do our job with him.
This game will definitely not disappoint, especially with both teams being evenly sound on both sides of the ball.
They're going to be huge, especially with Christian McCaffrey on the other side, and the quarterback and their offensive line being so good. So we just need to do the small details, spill the ball the right way, and just keep it ball leveraged. That's going to be huge in this game.
I feel like they're a very similar team to us. It kind of helps us out a lot, but at the same time, you don't know what kind of team they can be.
So that's a great question. I think the biggest thing for us as coaches is being smart enough not to put every play that draws up well against that structure on the board. You still got a limit. You got to figure out what you do best and what's going to fit best for your matchups. and really try to isolate those plays and work those plays and make sure everybody knows them as your core plays going into this game.
On Tuesday, both Iowa and Stanford players will have full media time, so stick with Daily Iowan TV Sports at www.dailyiowan.com for more updates on that. Reporting in Los Angeles, Taylor Brooks, Daily Iowan TV Sports.